enough.
The boatswain, have care. Where is the master?
I'm afraid now. Keep below.
Where is the master, boatswain?
Do you not hear him? You mar our labor. Keep him to your account and you do assist the storm.
And good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence, what cares thou these roars for the name of king to cabin silence? Trouble us not.
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I more love than myself. Out of our way, I say. Down with the topsail. Yea, lower, lower. Bring her try with main course. Ah, yet again, what do you hear? Shall we give or drown? Have your minds sink?
Apoxo Yarkrow, you bawling, blasphemous and charitable dog!
Work you then!
Hang, cur! Hang, you hoarse and insolent noisemaker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstacked wretch.
Lay her hold! A hold! Set her 2 courses off to sea again! Lay her off!
Lost, to prayers, lost!
What must our mouths be called?
The king and prince's prayers, but the system for our cases as theirs.
I'm out of patience!
We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards.
We'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it in deep and wide and fickle like ebb.
Mercy on us! We slip!
Will the love be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
If, by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. Oh, I have suffered with those who I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubts, noble creatures, and her dashed all to pieces. Poor souls, they perished.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe of the day!
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one. Thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know settle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as a hair bedded to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must now no farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped.
Canst thou remember a time before we came into the cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off and rather like a dream. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda. 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and now his only heir and princess, no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence?
Both, my girl, by foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly hope hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther?
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee, mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time through all the signories it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected, how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them. Having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear, that now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on't. Thou attendest not.
Good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, overprized all popular rate, in my false brother awaked an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. He being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie. He did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution, and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence, his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway, with the King of Naples, to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and then the dukedom yet unbowed, alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens.
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now, the condition. The King of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premise of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon one midnight did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness the ministers for the purpose hurried thence, me and thy crying self.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colours fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged nor tackle, sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim thou wast that did preserve me. Thou didst smile, and fused with a fortitude from heaven, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we here?
By providence divine. Some food we had, and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, GONZALO, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much. So of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man. I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
By accident most strange, bountiful fortune. Now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore. Here cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant, come. I am ready now. Approach, my Ariel, come.
All hail, great master, great sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task Ariel and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck. In every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I'll divide and burn in many places. The fires and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. The king's son, Ferdinand, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son I have landed by himself, with whom I left cooling of the air with sighs in an odd angle of the isle, sitting with his arms in his sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed in all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship. In the deep nook there she's hid, the mariners all under hatches stowed, who with a charm joined to their suffered labor I have left asleep. And as for the rest of the fleet which I dispersed, they all have met again and bound sadly home for Naples.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time 'twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakenings, served without a grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bate me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
And thou dost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgettest. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, from Argier thou knowest was banished. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportest thyself, wast then her servant, and, for thou was a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, she did confine thee into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled, well-pag-born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban her son.
Dull thing. He, that Caliban whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl, and penetrate the breasts of ever-angry bears. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine, and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say, what shall I do?
Go, make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go hence, with diligence. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put a heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on, we'll visit Caliban, who never yields us a kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What? Oh, slave! Caliban, thou earth, thou speak!
There's one enough within!
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise, when? Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself, upon thy wicked dam come forth!
As wicked do as ere my mother, brush with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both, a southwest blow on you and blister you all o'er.
For this, be sure tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that shall pen thy breath up. Urchins shall work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than the bees that made 'em.
This island's mine, by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and madest much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Curse the eye that did so! All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats, light on you! For I am all the subjects you have, which first was mine own king, and here you sty me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep for me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move not kindness. I have used thee with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Would it had been done! Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled Alsace with Calibans.
Of a horrid slave, which any prince of goodness will not take. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Angstadt, hence! Fetch us in fuel, and be quick. Thou wert best to answer other business. Shruggest thou? Malice? If thou neglect'st, or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee, I must obey. His art is of such power.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves whist. Footed feetly here and there, and sweet spirits the burthen bear. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark.
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island. Sitting on a bank, weeping again, the king, my father's wreck, this music crept by me upon the waters with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made, those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange.
The ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
Fringed curtain of thine eyes, advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What is it? A spirit? Carries a brave form. 'Tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest yon was in the wreck.
I might call it nothing divine, or nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Oh, most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer may know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language! Heavens! I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since at ebb beheld the king my father wrecked.
Lack for mercy.
Yes, faith and all his lords.
At the first sight they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for.
They are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word more. I charge thee that thou attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy, to win it from me, the lord on't.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple.
Follow me. Speak not you for him. He's a traitor. Come, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Follow.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
What? I say, my foot, my tutor? Put thy sword up, traitor, for I can here disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father.
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence. One word more shall make me chide thee. Thou thinkest there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him in Caliban? Foolish wench. To the most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again, and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threats to whom I am subdued, are but light to me, might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid. All corners else of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Thou shalt be free as mountain winds, but then exactly do all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow. Speak not for him.
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech.
beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all, of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. But for the miracle, our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
Bong, one, tell.
when every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer,
$1.
dolour comes to him. Indeed, you have spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord.
Aye, what a spendthrift does he of his tongue.
I prithee, spare.
Well, I have done, but yet,
He will be talking.
though this island seemed to be desert, uninhabitable, and almost inaccessible,
Yet.
He could not miss it.
the air breathes upon us most sweetly.
As if it had lungs, and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Of that there's none, or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
He misses not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit, that our garments, being as they were, drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Afrique, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
It was a sweet marriage, and we prospered well in our return.
Sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense, when I have not married my daughter there. For coming hence, my son is lost, and in my rate she is too, who so far from Italy removed, I never shall see her again. O thou mine heir, of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Brother, you may thank yourself for this great loss that would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to Africa.
Prithee, peace.
We have lost your son. I fear forever. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
And most cogently.
It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather.
Very foul.
All the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats on Prosper fall and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But for every trifler they set upon me, sometime like apes that mow and shatter at me, and after bite me, then like hedgehogs which lie tumbling in my barefoot way and mount their pricks in my footfall. Sometime am I all wounded with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo, now, lo, here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat. Perchance he will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. Oh, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon huge same black cloud, yon huge one. It looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man or a fish?
dead or alive. It's a fish. He smells like a fish, a very ancient and fish-like smell. A strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. When they will not give a coin to relieve a lame beggar, they will lazy out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legs like a man and his fins like arms. War of my troth, I do now let loose my opinion and hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, well, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under this gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. Here I will shroud to the dregs of the storm be past.
Do not torment me! Oh!
I shall no more to see. Here shall I die ashore. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabbler, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his maid, loved Melmac, Marina, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor of pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where'er she did itch, and to the sea boys and let her go hang. This is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
Oh!
What's the matter?
Oh!
Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon with savages and men of Ind, huh? I have not escaped drowning to be afeared now of your 4 legs, for it hath been said as proper a man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said so again when Stephano breathes at his nostrils.
The spirit torments me! Oh!
Oh, this is some monster of the isle, with 4 legs, who hath got, as I take it, an og. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief, if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
Oh, he's in his fits now, does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle. If he hath never drunk wine afore, will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and soundly. Come on your ways, open your mouth. Here is that which will give you language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking. I can tell you that in that soundly. You cannot tell who is your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. It should be. Oh, but he is drowned and these are devils. Oh, defend me.
4 legs and 2 voices. Oh, a most delicate monster. His forward voice is to now speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches. I will pour some in thy other mouth.
Stephano?
Does thy other mouth call me? Oh, mercy, mercy. This is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Oh, Stephano, if thou beest Stephano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, it's thy good friend, Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by thy lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Thou art the very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this moon, cat? Can he met Trinculo?
I took him to be killed but with the thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stephano? I hid me under the dead moon calf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living, Stephano? Oh, Stephano, 2 Neapolitans escaped!
Ugh. Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escapest? How camest thou hither? I swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon the butt of a sack which the sailors had heaved overboard.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here then, swear how thou escapest.
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Thou canst swim like a duck, but thou art made like a goose.
Ooh, Stephano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, moon calf? How is thine og?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon I do assure thee, I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have feared of him, a very weak monster, the man-eye the moon, a most poor credulous monster.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. I prithee, be my god.
Come on then, down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-handed monster, a most scurvy monster. I could find in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss.
Oh, but that poor monster is in drink.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. Plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster, to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pignets, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the men will marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scamels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
I prithee now, lead the way without any more talking. Trinculo and the king and all our company else be drowned, we will inherit here.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell.
A howling monster, a drunken monster.
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetching firing yet requiring, nor scape trencher, nor watch dish. Ban, CALIBAN, has a new master, get a new man. Freedom, heyday, heyday, freedom, freedom, heyday, freedom.
Oh, brave monster, lead the way.
This my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work. Those sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours it is against. You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, what is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your heart so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king, I would not so. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides, to make me slave to it.
Do you love me?
More than anything else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me plain and holy innocence, I'll be your wife, if you'll marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband then.
I, with a heart as willing as bondage ere freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. Now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
Poor worm, thou art infected. Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them. So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. Now to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Had I a plantation of this isle, my lord?
He'd sow it with nettle seed.
Or docks, or mallows.
And were the king on it, what would I do?
You're being drunk for want of wine.
In the commonwealth I would by contraries execute all things. No occupation, all men idle all, no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on it.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce. Without sweat or endeavor, nature should bring forth, of its own kind, all foison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying amongst his subjects.
None, all idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
God save his majesty!
Long live Gonzalo!
And do you mock me, sir?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and did it to administer occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
What a blow was there given! Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep, for I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
What, so soon sleep? I wish my eyes would, with themselves, shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offerings. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you, wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them?
It is the quality o' the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by a thunderstroke. What might worthy Sebastian? Oh, what might no more? And yet, methinks I see it on thy face, what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? This is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lett'st thy fortune sleep, die rather winkst while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my customs. You must be so too if heed me, which to do trebles thee all.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb hereditary sloth instructs me.
Thus, sir, although this lord hath here almost persuaded the king his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he undrowned, and he that sleep here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope. What great hope have you? No hope that way is another way so high, a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wing beyond, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who is the next heir of Naples?
Claribel.
She that is queen of Tunis? She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life? We were all Swiss swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny perform an act, whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you?
Say this were death that now hath seized them. Why, they were no worse than now they are. There can be that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps. Oh, that you bore the mind I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your contents tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments sit upon me. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Ay, sir, where lies that? Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead. Whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever, while you, doing thus to this ancient morsel, who should not upbraid our course.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gott'st Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. 1 stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
We draw together, and when I rear my hands, do you the like to fall it on Gonzalo.
While you here ignoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy as time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake! Awake!
Now, good angels, preserve the king!
Why, how now? How drawn? Why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now, we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls, or rather lions. Did it not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming which did awake me. As my eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground and let's make further search for my poor lost son.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
Tell not me when the bud is out, we will drink water. Not a drop before. Therefore bear up and boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are three of them. If the other 2 be brained like us, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else?
Thy mad monster hath drowned his tongue in sack, for my part. The sea cannot drown me, I swam here. 35 leagues off, I can recover the shore. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, nor my standard.
Your lieutenant, if you list, he's no standard.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life, if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve him. He's not valiant.
Oh, thou liest, most ignorant monster. Why, thou debauched fish, thou? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Oh, lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Lo, again! Bite him to death, I prithee!
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree. The poor monster's my subject. He shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Marry, will I kneel and repeat it? I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him any more in his tale, by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Well, then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, by sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
how shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayest knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pied ninny is this? Thou scurvy patch! I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows and take his bottle from him.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt this monster one word further, and by this hand I'll turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why, what did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Did I so? Takest thou that? As you like this, give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. Out on your wits and bearing too. A pox on your bottle and the devil take your fingers.
Now forward with your tale. Prithee, stand further off.
Beat him enough, and after a little time I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Come, proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him. I, the afternoon to sleep, there thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log, batter his skull, paunch him with a stake, or cut his weapons with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot, as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. And that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. I never saw a woman but only Sycorax my dam and she, but she as far surpasses Sycorax, as grace does least.
Is it so, brave alas?
Aye, lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen, and Trinculo and myself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I'm sorry I beat thee, but whilst thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on mine honor.
This will I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure.
At thy request, monster, I will do reason. Any reason. Come on, Trinculo, let us sing. Flout 'em and scout 'em and scout 'em and
Flout 'em and thought is free.
That is not the tune.
Oh, what is this? The same. Well, this is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody. If thou beest a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou beest a devil, take us as thou list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
Oh, he that dies pays all debts. Mercy be upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster. Not I.
Be not afeard. The isle's full of noises, sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that, if I then had waked after a long sleep, will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me that, when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, for I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
That shall be by and by. Lead, monster. We'll follow.
Fire Lake, and I can go no further, sir. I needs must rest me.
Oh Lord, I cannot blame thee. where myself attached with weariness. Sit down and rest. He is drowned. Whom must we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he is so out of hope.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight.
What harmony is this, my good friends? Hark!
Marvelous. Sweet music.
Give us kind keepers. Heavens! What were those?
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me?
Honest Lord, thou hast said well, for some of you there present are worse than devils.
No matter, since we have stomachs. Will it please you taste of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, you need not fear.
I will stand to and feed.
Although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past.
Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as I.
You are 3 men of sin, whom destiny hath caused to belch up you, and on this island where men doth not inhabit, you most men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds as diminish one jowl that's in my plume. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you 3 from Milan did supplant good Prospero, him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers, delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me, lingering perdition, shall step by step attend you and your ways.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. They now are in my power.
In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name Prospero. It did pass my trespass. Therefore my son in the ooze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
But one king at a time. I'll fight their legions over.
I'll be thy second.
All 3 of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now gins to bite the spirits. Follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here 1/3 of mine own life, or that for which I live. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test here. Now, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast her off, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then, as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue and long life, with such love as 'tis now the strongest temptation, shall never melt mine honor into lust.
Fairly spoke. Sit then, and talk with her. She is thine own. What? Ariel, my industrious servant, Ariel,
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Go, bring the rabble over whom I give thee power here to this place, and cite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it of me.
Presently?
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go, do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate ARIEL. Look, thou be true. Do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire and the blood.
I warrant you, sir, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
No tongue, all eyes. Be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich leaves of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas, thy banks with pioned and twilled brims, which spongy April at thy hest betrims, to make cold nymphs and chaste crowns, and thy broom groves, whose shadows the dismissed bachelor loves, where thou thyself dost air the queen o' the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee lead these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot in this very place, to come and sport, her peacocks fly amain, approach, rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, that ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffuses honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubbed down. Rich scarf to my why hath thy queen summoned me hither to the short grass green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers.
Tell me, heavenly God, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen?
Of her society be not afraid. I met her dearly. Her waspish-headed son has broke his arrows, swears he will shoot no more but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out.
Highest queen of state, great Juno, comes. I know her by her gates.
How does my bounteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honored in their issue. Honors, riches, marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings upon you.
Earths increase, boys in plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines and clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly birth and blowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres' blessing, so is on you.
You nymphs-collared naiads of the wine-drink brooks, with your sedge crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late.
You sunburnt sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry.
Make holiday, your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs encounter everyone.
In country footing.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast CALIBAN and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done. Avoid. No more.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. If you be pleased, retire into my cell, and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk, to still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Come, with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel, come.
What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with CALIBAN.
Aye, my commander.
Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing their feet. So I charmed their ears, that calf-like they followed through toothed briars, sharp furzes, prickling goss and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up the chins with the foul lake or stuffed their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither, for sail to catch these thieves.
I go.
A devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. I will plague them all, even to roaring.
Pray you, tread softly. We are now near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than played the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell of horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, how look you? Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good, my lord. Give me thy favor still.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool.
There is not only disgrace and dishonor in that, monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wedding. Yet this is your harmless fairy, monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er years for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, STEPHANO, oh pure, oh worthy STEPHANO, look what a wardrobe here is for thee.
Let it alone, thou fool. It is but trash.
Oh, monster, we know it belongs to a frippery. Oh, King STEPHANO.
Put off that gown, Shrinkulo. By this hand I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
You mean to dote thus on such luggage? Let's alone and do the murder first.
Be you quiet, monster. Mistress Line, is this not my jerkin? Now is the jerkin under the line? Now, jerkin, you're likely to lose your hair and broom a bald jerkin.
Do we steal by line and level, ain't like your grace?
I thank thee for that jest. Here's a garment for it. Which shall not go unrewarded while I'm king of this country. Steal by line and level as an excellent passive pay. Here's another garment for it.
Monster, come, put some lime upon your fingers and away with the rest.
I will have none on it. We shall lose our time and all be turned to barnacles.
Monster, lay to your fingers or I'll turn you out on my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
And this.
Aye. And this.
Hark they roar!
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lie at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors end, and thou shalt have the air of freedom. Now does my project gather to a head. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Yes, you left them, all prisoners. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, but chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beards like winter's drops from leaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works him that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, if I were human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason, gatest my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. Thy being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, ARIEL. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back, you demi-puppets, that by moonshine do the sour green ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew. By whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vaults set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, opened up and let them forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. There stand, for you are spell stopped. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him you followest, I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, you, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, who, with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Their understanding begins to swell. ARIEL, fetch me the hat and rapier in my cell. I will discase me and myself present as I was some time alone. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So. So, Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest he or not, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the afflictions of my mind amends, with which, I fear, a madness has held me. This must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I do resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll swear.
Welcome, my friend. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time, I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore, where I have lost my dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter? When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. But howsoe'er you have been justled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero. Welcome, sir. This cell's my court. Pray you, look.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about. Arise and say how thou camest here.
Wonder how many goodly creatures there are here. How beauteous mankind is. A brave new world that have such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid whom thou wast at play? Is she the goddess that severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by a mortal providence she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I have received a second life, and second father this lady makes to me.
I have inly wept in one voyage, did Ferdinand find a wife where he himself was lost, Prospero his dukedom, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Give me your hands.
Be it so. Amen.
Well done.
Bravely, my diligence. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself. For all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
If these be true spies which I wear in my head, here is a goodly sight.
Oh, Citibus, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I am afraid he will chastise me.
Aha! What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy 'em?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
These 3 have robbed me, had plotted to take my life. 2 of these fellows you must know. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stephano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now, where had he wine?
And Trinculo is railing right. How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones.
Why, how now, Stephano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stephano, but a cramp.
You'll be king of the isle, sirrah?
I should have been a sore one then.
This is as strange thing as I've ever looked on.
Go, sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool.
Go to. Away. Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, and in the morn I shall bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements, be free, and fare thou well.
Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want
spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces itself so it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults.
As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.